Spring cleaning. Some ideas that might need to be tossed out. The title is pretty awkward, so let me just share with you what I have in mind. I'd like to think that truth has an expiration date. You know, come spring every year, we have to relearn everything. Everything sort of becomes dated, and you have to pour it all out, and you have to start again as these new truths. Now that's a little bit drawn, so let me get a little bit more specific. We inherit and we operate on a lot of junk. I'll give you a real example. I watched my daddy as a young kid shave every morning, pretty close. We were in a small house and he had a place over near the sink, and one of the cabinets opened up and he had his shaving mug and his mirror, and he would work from the sink and he would shave. Well, I watched Daddy and I saw what he did, and then when the time came that I had a little bit of growth on my face, I started and followed how he had done it. Well, Daddy was in the South Pacific in World War II. He was a hospital orderly in some of those field hospitals in New Guinea and Australia and Japan, and it was a pretty mucky atmosphere. It was MASH before MASH, I think a lot of it was. Well, he was a low man on the totem pole, so he did bedpans and dressings and all that goes with malaria and wounds and all that aftermath of the move through the Pacific of MacArthur's armies. Anyway, I watched Daddy shave, so when time came, I shaved like he did. And I went through the process. It was only after I was in my 30s that I learned that you should use hot water. Now that's the literal truth. Because Daddy did, I guess, what was called, field shaving. He'd gotten used to that in World War II because he was just 18 and his beard didn't come in, and all he had to do was operate from what was existing. So my poor chin and throat and cheeks suffered under my my cold razor trying to get my whiskers off. That's why I have a beard today. No. Now see, that was a wrong-headed idea, but it was one that was shared with me, and it became an operating principle for a good portion of my life. Ideas need to be re-examined. Ideas need to be tested. Look at what science has taught us. Look at what medicine has taught us. 200 years ago, the advances of what we have today were only fiction, only ravings of lunatics, what we do today. Before James A. Garfield, one of the better men to serve in the White House, had tremendous potential. They literally killed him because they kept probing his wound after he was an attempted assassination without washing their hands. He did not die of the wound, he died of the medical care given him. Ideas that don't matter anymore, that don't work anymore, old truths that don't signify. Well, the truth I want to share with you for a couple of minutes is this truth, that we need to examine, and we need to remodify, and we need to change. The idea of power over. People go to church, people go to college, people learn and train and learn skills in an effort to overcome something, to learn a trade, to have power over it by the influence of intelligence, skills, rules, no matter what it might be. Unitarian Universalist ministers go to seminary. They work in hospitals. They work with people, individuals, trying to find the power in their own existence to overcome the lack of understanding, ignorance, lack of information, lack of faith, to present something viable and important to their congregations. So we have a tradition in our culture and around the world in this short existence of the human story of power over. How do I overcome this? How do I overcome my illness? How do I overcome my ignorance? How do I overcome my lack of appreciation? Whatever it might be. I want us to suggest that there's another way to look at this issue of power, and that's power with. We are called into cooperation with life. We cannot overcome it, and we ultimately can't fully understand it. The mystery is much bigger than us. So maybe rather than rather strive for understanding, we do that. We push our intellects we push our intuitions, we push our creativity, we push our skills as far as they might go. And I'm standing in front of you, a beneficiary of the advances of science in probably one of the most significant advances in our century, and that's organ transplant. That makes possible life for an individual after a part of their body has given up on them. So I'm not opposed to understandings. I'm not opposed to accomplishments. I've been blessed mightily by that. I'm just saying at some point understanding has to rest. And we have to step back and learn appreciation. Look at the world around us. As our reading said this morning, we didn't have anything to do with this. We just came into the middle of this story. We came into the middle of this story to live our own story, to craft it from the raw stuff of good parenting, bad parenting, indifferent parenting, poor education, little education, great education, bad decisions, good decisions, no decisions. So here we are, a humanity stressed and pushed by life to find understanding and appreciation and power over, when all we're really invited to do is to use the best we can come up with, to be kind and good to one another, to craft an existence that when we leave it is better than what we inherited, and to be about appreciating it all in the process. Just stepping back and say, what a magnificent spring day. Wonder how the crops are going to do. See if we can't find time and a few dollars to help those people that pick those products, to remember what it looks like and feels like to stoop down over a row. If you've not done it, it's no fun. And to be on your knees 8 hours a day picking fruit. We are an interdependent creation. We're called to be our best. We're called to apply ourselves with our skills wherever we might be. And it begins one-on-one, trying to be as kind and as thoughtful and as honest and as supportive as we would want people to be to us. I don't want people to feel sorry for me. I don't want people to feel that I'm something special. I just want them to say, Doak, you've come a long way and it's pretty good stuff, ain't it? That's all we need. We don't need a divinity blessing us. We need us claiming, as the old folks used to do, a blessing from on high, from life. We wrestle with existence every day, getting our children off to school, remembering our children far away, hearing that our granddaughter had her arm broke, understanding what it means to be distancing from people we love, grieving when we have to bury those that are so significant to us. How are we going to get by with that? All that life throws at us, we're capable of responding to because we're creative and responsive people. But if we go about the attitude of we're going to overcome this, that we're going to prove ourselves more powerful than life, that we're going to someday wrestle it down and make it subservient to us, then we're fooling ourselves. But if we can learn the dance, if we can hear the beat, if we can understand the rhythms, and we can see in our patience and our acceptance the wonder all around us, and acknowledge when we see a hurting brother and sister, maybe put our arms around them or at least hold their hand and say, you don't have to say anything. We are hurting people, lonesome most of the time, struggling to be about what it means to be an adult and capable. And we go to delusions and ideas and quick fixes of, well, if you just think this, if you just believe this, if you just do this, if you just eat this, you're going to overcome it. Back up, stand back, feel the breath in your chest, feel the seat under your butt, and know that life is real and you are a part of it. That's a special, special thing. So if you need fairy tales, if you need mythology, if you need stories of demons and gods, you go right ahead. Have some fun. But when it comes down to it and you're looking at the doctor and the doctor says you've got 5 years or a new heart, you just ought to go, okay, whatever you say, Doc. And then you go with the flow and you be what, and you listen and you be what you need to be. And the story might not end well. It might not end well. I'm sure there are 10 other specimens that Dr. Ventura has dealt with that came in with similar conditions as mine that didn't make it 5 years, much less 2 years. So let's not fool ourselves. We're not going to overpower life. The best we can do is be a part of it, to be genuine, to be kind, to be loving, to be aware, and to shake our heads and get mad when there's injustice, and find ways to lean into communities and movements that bring about greater justice. We got to get over and throw out, it's time to toss out the idea of violence. It's time to toss out the idea of special people over other people. There are a lot of ideas in our culture, capitalism as it's formulated. Lots of things need to be reworked. And we in our creativity, and we in our faith, and we in our courage have that opportunity to work on that. Life offers us a lot of opportunities. Opportunities close at hand, opportunities for joy and laughter, for pretty music and wonderful smiles. It's a blessed thing. It's a blessed thing. There's a story told from the rabbinic tradition that every person, you've heard me say it, but I need it again today. Every person is born with two pockets. In one pocket, you pull out the truth, for the universe I was created. No, that's not right. You pull in the pocket. For me the universe was created. And you pull out your other pocket, I am dust and ashes. We live in that tension, and we live in that tension. And the operative word is, we live. Be good to yourselves. Remember all the opportunities are there. And let the junk go. Don't carry the junk no more. It's not necessary, nor is it nutritious. That's not bad. I remember that one. It just ain't nutritious. That's what. Be good to one another.